Hello class 8th. Today we will read the chapter 2nd, One Summer Night. So listen this video carefully, then read your chapter. So let's start.
The fact that Henry Armstrong was buried did not seem to him to prove that he was dead. He had always been a difficult man to convince. But the fact that he really was buried, all his senses told him. His posture, flat upon his back, with his hands crossed upon his stomach, and tied with something that he easily broke, even though it did not help his situation, the strict confinement of his entire body, the black darkness, and profound silence made it impossible to disbelieve that he was buried, and he accepted it. But dead? No. He was only very, very ill. Being so sick, he did not greatly concern himself with the unusual circumstances he found himself in. No philosopher was he, just a plain, commonplace person with a disease. The organ that caused his discomfort was quiet at the moment. So with no particular fear for his immediate future, he fell asleep, and all was at peace with Henry Armstrong. But something was going on overhead. It was a dark summer night, shot through sometimes with shimmers of lightning, silently lighting up a cloud lying low in the west, and signaling a storm. These brief flashes of light brought out with ghastly clarity the monuments and headstones of the cemetery and seemed to set them dancing. It was not a night in which any witness whose word could be depended on was likely to be moving about a cemetery. So the three men who were there, digging into the grave of Henry Armstrong, felt reasonably secure. Two of them were young students from a medical college a few miles away. The third was a gigantic man known as Jess. For many years, Jess had been employed at the cemetery as a man of all work, and it was his favorite pleasantry that he knew every soul in the place. Outside the wall, at the part of the grounds furthest from the public road, was a horse and a light wagon waiting. The work of excavation was not difficult. The earth with which the grave had been loosely filled a few hours before offered little resistance and was soon thrown out. Removal of the casket from its grave was less easy, but it was taken out, for it was a perquisite of Jess, who carefully unscrewed the cover and laid it aside, exposing the body in black trousers and white shirt. At that instant, the air sprang to flame. A crackling shock of thunder shook the stunned world, and Henry Armstrong tranquilly sat up. With inarticulate cries, the two students fled in terror. For nothing on earth could the two of them have been persuaded to return. But Jess was of another breed. In the grey of the morning, the two students, pallid and haggard from anxiety, and with the terror of their adventure still beating tumultuously in their blood, met at the medical college. "You saw it?" cried one. "God, yes, what are we to do?" They went around to the rear of the building, where they saw a horse and wagon hitched to a gatepost near the door of the dissecting room. Mechanically, they entered the room. On a bench in the semi-darkness sat Jess. He rose, grinning, all eyes and teeth. "I'm waiting for my pay," he said. Stretched on a long table lay the body of Henry Armstrong, the head defiled with blood and clay from a blow with a spade.
Okay students, so read this chapter carefully and you can write the hard words in the notebook. We will meet in the next class with the explanation of this chapter. Okay, bye bye.